doodle video.
No, I'm back at it again with another live stream.
No, it's back at it again with another doodle live stream.
Back at it again with another doodle live stream. Look at it.
Added to his likes now 121-14. Most of. Oh well, I'm playing horrible.
Bruh.
Back at it again, man. With another doodle live stream.
Where's you at, bro? Like, accept my friend request, you bum.
Me?
Bro, my man's a pro 4.
And I'm back at it again with another video.
Team Willers. I don't know what his name is, bro.
Hey, he just got me, I'm not even gonna lie.
What? Millers. It's Millers.
It's Millers. I know, I just saw it.
Now what?
Millers.
What you want?
Yeah, mama.
What?
Oh, he my friend. I wanna go.
So you really wanna say? Alright, I got something for you.
I'm just.
Man, your mama.
I'm joining your part to be in the live stream. I'm not joining your part to play with you.
I got next right here.
Well.
No, bro, shut up. I'm not playing with you.
I'm grinding.
Come on, let's do this.
Grinding. Grinding.
I got you. No, stop. Huh? Don't break your what?
Bruh.
I don't care about your neck.
Oh. Yo.
I don't care.
I don't care about nothing you say.
I'ma break your neck.
I don't care. You need to get the fuck out of my face. I need for you to get out of my face.
I'm sorry.
I need you to get out my face. I'm eating.
Oh my.
chicken.
I want to see my dick.
Nasty! Bro, turn that down. What's good? What's good, bro?
Hey, what's that shit over there? That 2K shit over there. In the corner.
Yeah, both 88. Hold on.
You going over there, young buck, with some pussy?
Yep. Yep. I'm not even busy. Come on, man. Let me be.
What the fuck is Boost down there? fuck this shit ain't working?
Oh. Bye. I just got a 5 piece of pussy though. Bro, why is this not starting?
Oh no, that shit dope.
It's broke.
Man.
Man.
That shit. Let's go to a different.
We can't. I can't exit. Can you? Me too.
Oh, man.
This shit's stupid, bro.
Wait, you want them out and do things?
How the fuck he stuck? I don't want to play against these sorry niggas.
Serial killer's a 95. Blood you is an 88.
Yeah, I'm an 88. You didn't say it.
And the Intelligent Ace is an 83. So we,
Okay.
so I think I know who's carrying it now. Serial killer is carrying it now.
Yeah. Bruh, why the fuck we stuck?
I don't even know, man. Come on, man. No, we stuck because Ronnie 2K. I hate him. I hate Ronnie 2K.
Man, the whole game about to turn off myself.
Everybody scream fuck Ronnie 2K.
Fuck 2K.
I said everybody scream fuck. I said everybody scream fuck Ronnie 2K.
Damn, I'm getting messages.
Fuck Ronnie 2K. That's what we supposed to scream. Everybody scream fuck Ronnie 2K. Oh, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3. Fuck Ronnie 2K.
Fuck 2K.
Oh my god, man, I'm still stuck up in here, man. That's making me mad. Man. Oh, man. Bro, this is just like 2K14 when it's broken. Don't it?
Hell yeah.
Right, it's like 2K14 when it's broken. You know, like, well, like the mop park is broken. Like you can't play nothing game. And then when you leave for a while, the game starts to happen.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm about to itch. Dude, I'm about to add y'all real quick. I'm about to hop off.
Man, alright, bro. Hold up, I'm finna have you as my friend.
Alright.
Okay. And then come to my mock court. And then after that, come to my mock court. Both of y'all. You rather come to my mock court? You better come to my mock court because I'm about to go there.
Hell no, I'm about to go fuck with some hoes and shit.
You about to go what?
Fuck with some hoes. I'm gonna go to a bitch house.
After, you want to play a game before? Nah, you want to play a game?
Before I leave?
Yeah.
Oh, look, my brother waiting on me. Shit, I gotta pick him up. But I'll be back on later though.
Cool. Nigga hop up. Let's get it. How is it fun? Let's... Yo, Tay. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me in the ass. Fuck me. Fuck me. Choke me. Pretty boyfriend will choke me. Choke me.
I said, we was just watching TV, then I fell asleep. She said, what the hell? Hey guys, we're gonna keep the intro short because we've got 30 teams to get through here. So really, all I want to say is that when making this list, I tried to avoid guys that failed because of injuries as much as possible. Because I don't want my busts to have excuses, I want them to have everything going for them and still be horrible. Last quick note, just in case you don't stick around until the end, if you like the video, subscribe for more NBA content. And now, let's jump into the biggest bust for every single NBA team. The Atlanta Hawks select Marvin Williams. Headed into the 2005 draft, the Hawks needed a point guard, so first-team All-American Chris Paul looked like an easy selection for the franchise to make. Instead, the Hawks passed on future Hall of Famer Paul and future All-Star Darren Williams to take Marvin Williams with the second overall pick. Even though Marvin was a player who was deemed not good enough to start for his own college team at North Carolina. So yeah, even though Marvin eventually grew into a starting caliber player in his NBA career, again, the Hawks desperately needed a point guard, and they passed on Chris Paul. At the time, everyone thought this was a dumb move, and everyone was right. The Boston Celtics select Kedrick Brown. The Boston Celtics have a long record of drafting future Hall of Famers, but every now and then, no matter how good you are, sometimes you're going to fail, which was definitely the case.
I feel like I've never properly introduced myself into the 2K community, but, you know, I thought I should just say, hello. How you doing? My name's LSK. Are you 2K niggas pack full videos, clickbait like Kim K? Ask cash for a wager? It's like playing Marco the Kimbe. Hey, join my network. Live your Olajuwon today.
Case in the 2001 draft, when with the 11th pick, the Celtics took Kedrick Brown, a man who would only last 4 years in the NBA and retired with a career 3.6 point per game average. Now, this was certainly a miss of a draft pick, but to make matters even worse, at the time the Celtics owned the Denver Nuggets draft pick and could choose to use it in 2001, 2002, or 2003. They chose 2001 and picked the bust that is Kedrick Brown, when they could have waited until 2002 or 2003 and potentially seen players such as Amari Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, or Chris Bosh in a Celtics uniform. Ouch. The Brooklyn Nets select Dennis Hobson. In 1987, the Nets were coming off a 24-58 season and held the 3rd overall pick. With this pick, they could have taken future Hall of Famers Scottie Pippen or Reggie Miller, or future All-Stars Kevin Johnson, Horace Grant, Reggie Lewis, or Mark Jackson. Instead, they chose Dennis Hobson, who at the time did look great. I mean, he averaged an awesome 29 points per game during his senior season at Ohio State, but once he arrived in the NBA, Hobson would never quite live up to his college hype. While he did lead the Nets in scoring in the 1990 season with 15.8 points per game, overall Hobson was seen as a would never quite live up to his college hype. While he did lead the Nets in scoring in the 1990 season with 15.8 points per game, overall Hobson was seen as a massive disappointment, and he would finish his NBA career after just 5 seasons. The Charlotte Hornets select Adam Morrison. 2006 was the year Michael Jordan became a part owner of the then Charlotte Bobcats, which meant many thought it wouldn't be long before Mike's championship pedigree rubbed off on his new team. The many people who thought this were quickly proven horribly wrong. When in his first draft as an owner, Jordan selected college star Adam Morrison with the 3rd overall pick over Rudy Gay and Brandon Roy, the 2 players the rest of his front office wanted him to take. Again, this was a pretty terrible decision, as Morrison played in just 4 years in the NBA and left the league with career averages of 7.5 points and 2.1 rebounds, making him one of the worst 3rd overall picks in the history of the NBA. The Chicago Bulls select LaMarcus Aldridge, then trade for Tyrese Thomas. In the 2006 draft, the Bulls had the 2nd overall pick and nailed it when they drafted LaMarcus Aldridge out of the University of Texas. Except the Bulls front office decided they saw more value in the supposedly raw and potential-filled Tyrese Thomas, and they traded the man they had already taken, the future All-Star LaMarcus Aldridge, to the Blazers for the 4th overall pick, Tyrese Thomas. Thomas would end up playing 8 years in the NBA and averaged just 7.7 points and 4.8 rebounds a game, while again, All-Star LaMarcus Aldridge is still playing with career averages of 19.1 points and 8.3 rebounds. So while in their franchise history, Tyrese Thomas wasn't the worst player the Bulls drafted in the lottery, when you draft an All-Star and then immediately trade him for a career role player, well, that pretty much automatically becomes the biggest bust in your franchise's history. The Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett. Now, to be fair, the 2013 draft wasn't the greatest draft in NBA history, as so far Giannis has been the only player taken to become an NBA All-Star, and Giannis was certainly not seen as a potential top selection at that time. With that said, the Cavs surprised everyone when they took Anthony Bennett at number 1, as many mock drafts had Bennett going as low as number 8. But Cleveland thought they had their guy, and in the process, they passed up on some solid players such as CJ McCollum, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter, and Nerlens Noel, just to name a few. Any of those players would have been real assets on the current Cavs roster, while Bennett, well, he's been one of the worst number 1 overall picks in the history of sports in general. As in his 4 years in the league, Bennett averaged just 4.4 points per game and has shown such little potential that this year he was cut by the Nets D-League team and a EuroLeague team within the span of a few months. So I don't think we're going to see Anthony Bennett in the NBA anytime soon. But make sure to keep an eye out for him at your local YMCA tryout, where I'm sure he'll also be cut. The Dallas Mavericks select Samaki Walker. In 1996, the Dallas Mavericks were looking to add another post presence to complement their 3-star Jays: Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, and Jim Jackson. They held the 9th overall pick in a draft that held 10 future...
Good in stops. Now you have to mix and match. Bergeau has 10 boards. Anthony Bennett, way short. Goes back to Washington.
Most of you may know former first-round pick Anthony Bennett, and a lot of you may know him as the greatest bust in NBA history. In this video, we're going to go more into
Anthony Bennett is really a bust. He's a bust of all time. He's the worst bust.
In a draft that held 10 future All-Stars, but somehow they decided to take Samaki Walker, a 6'9" power forward out of Louisville. This was possibly the biggest mistake the Dallas Mavericks ever made, and that's saying a lot, as remember, Dallas let future 2-time MVP Steve Nash sign with the Suns in free agency because they didn't think he was worth the money he was asking for. As for Samaki, he was taken just spots before future MVPs Kobe Bryant and, coincidentally, Steve Nash. Walker was also selected ahead of stars Peja Stojakovic, Jermaine O'Neal, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Any of those players could have cemented a future Mavericks dynasty when paired with Dirk Nowitzki, but instead, Samaki Walker would stay with the Mavericks for just 3 seasons and would finish his NBA career with averages of 5.3 points and 4.7 rebounds a game. The Denver Nuggets select Raef LaFrentz. When looking back at the 1998 NBA draft, we find that the top 10 picks alone were loaded with talent. This top 10 held 3 future Hall of Famers in Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, and Paul Pierce. It also held a future All-Star in Antoine Jamison, as well as future NBA starters Mike Bibby, Jason Williams, and Larry Hughes. None of these players were Raef LaFrentz, who did have a decent tenure. Career, but was certainly not a future Hall of Famer. On top of this, like a lot of these picks, this selection didn't make a whole lot of sense at the time, as the Nuggets desperately needed a wing player, but chose to pass on Vince Carter and Paul Pierce, despite both players having standout collegiate careers. The Detroit Pistons select Darko Milicic. In 2003, Hall of Fame coach Larry Brown was hired by the Detroit Pistons to lead Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, and Rip Hamilton to the promised land. The year before, the Pistons had been swept by the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, and so they were now desperate to add the final piece to their championship puzzle. And wouldn't you know it, despite their success, the Pistons held the second pick in possibly the greatest draft class of all time, as they held the rights to the Memphis Grizzlies selection that year. But somehow, Detroit managed to mess this up, as instead of taking Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, or Dwayne Wade, the Pistons took Darko Milicic, a raw prospect who they thought had the upside of an NBA star. Instead, Darko averaged just 1.6 points per game in his 3 years as a Piston and left us all with one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. What if Detroit took Melo, Bosh, or Wade? Would they have won 2 NBA championships? Could they have won 3? Sadly, we'll never know the answer. The Golden State Warriors select Joe Smith. In the grand scheme of his NBA career, Joe Smith has been known for a few things, having the most basic name in NBA history. Being the most tradable player in NBA history, and being the Warriors' worst draft mistake of all time. As in 1995, Joe Smith was a 6'10" center out of Maryland when he was taken number 1 overall by Golden State. At the time, he was the consensus best talent in the draft according to scouts around the league, but that couldn't have been further from the truth, because the next 4 picks alone produced future Hall of Famer and MVP Kevin Garnett, as well as future All-Stars Antonio McDyess, Rasheed Wallace, and Jerry Stackhouse. Joe Smith would never make an All-Star team, and just midway through his 3rd year in Golden State, the team gave up on him and traded him to the Sixers, marking the beginning of a long and mediocre journey through the NBA that saw him play for 12 different teams. Not exactly what you want when you're trying to take a franchise player. The Houston Rockets select Eddie Griffin. In 2001, the Rockets had acquired 3 total first-round picks and would select Richard Jefferson, Jason Collins, and Brandon Armstrong, which would have been a pretty good draft if they didn't trade all 3 of them to the Nets for the 7th overall pick, Eddie Griffin. Griffin was both a mediocre talent and unfortunately a horrible alcoholic, as after averaging 8.7 points and 5.8 rebounds in 2 seasons with the Rockets in his first 2 years, Eddie would be waived by the team after he missed the entire 2004 season after being admitted into rehab for alcohol abuse. From there, he would sign with the Timberwolves the following season as a free agent, but the off-court issues for Eddie Griffin would eventually prove to be fatal, as sadly, Eddie would die in a car crash while driving drunk. So everyone, just use this as a lesson. Please do not drive drunk. The Indiana Pacers select Rick Roby. After winning a coin flip that gave them the number 1 pick in the 1978 draft, the Pacers tried desperately to convince Larry Bird to skip his senior year at Indiana State, but they were unsuccessful. So Indiana decided to trade down to the 3rd pick, where they took Rick Roby out of the University of Kentucky, which would have been fine, but then with the year, and as long as they sign that player in between the end of his college season and the start of next year's draft, they would be able to keep him. So the Celtics took Bird, signed him the next year, and watch this.
10 trades NBA teams wish they never did.
He led them to multiple NBA championships, while Roby, well, he would play in just 43 games as a Pacer before being traded in his rookie season to the Celtics. The Los Angeles Clippers select Michael Olowokandi. Don't need to spend much time on this one, as the Clippers made the same mistake as the Nuggets in the 1998 draft and missed out on Pierce, Carter, and Nowitzki. Only the Clippers pick was slightly worse, as Los Angeles actually was drafting number 1 in 1998 and took Michael Olowokandi, a man who was deemed uncoachable by basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar after the Clippers hired Kareem to work on the Candyman's game. And yes, he was called the Candyman, which was pretty late. The Los Angeles Lakers select Brad Holland. It's tough to believe that the Lakers would experience their biggest draft bust in the same draft that they selected Magic Johnson, but after taking Magic with the number 1 overall pick in the 1979 draft, the Lakers held the 14th pick as well. There, they took local What's up, guys? Mike here. UCLA stud Brad Holland over future All-Star
What's good, y'all? What's good?
Bro, look at this nigga reaching.